What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about Aterian Inc., ticker symbol ATER, because this stock has been blowing up over the past couple of days. It's actually pretty exciting. If you look at the chart and zoom out to, say, a 30-day time frame, you can see that we are on a very strong uptrend with this stock, and this is really great news because I know a lot of people were actually buying around this $10 support level, where it has shown a lot of support and has not been able to really dip down below for a significant period of time. There was a point at which I thought maybe we were going to be breaking below and staying below, but later that day, we ended up rebounding in a very strong way. And since then, we've been just moving up and making new highs every day. And that continued today. We're up over 12%, and we aren't even at the highs. We were at 1564 just earlier today, so that's about a 50% gain if you had been buying around $10. Now, this stock has a very strong bull case. Especially if you look at a longer-term time frame and see just how high this stock has been in the past. You know, we used to be trading in this $8 to kind of $10 range way back when, and we ended up breaking out of that, shooting up to almost $50 before coming down to $3, which was drastically oversold in my opinion. You know, it was kind of extenuated because of this earnings call right here, where we really sank down on this earnings, but since then, we have actually been moving up in a big way, and there's a real possibility that we'll start seeing some of these higher price points, especially after we break this $20 resistance level, which we have struggled with in the past. As I pointed out, you know, on our first run-up, I said around here in a video that I made, the first video that I made on Aterian, when we were up around 50% on this day, I believe, I was talking about this $20 resistance level because it was going to be a very difficult level to break, in my opinion, and you can see we actually ended up bouncing off of it twice before rebounding all the way down to $10. And, you know, that was a bit of a good call on my, in my opinion, on my part. However, since then, we've been bouncing off of 10, moving back up towards this $20 level. And I think that we have a real chance at breaking it this time because, you know, obviously the first time that you hit a resistance level like that, when it's acted as both a support level in the past and a resistance level in the past, you're probably going to bounce off. That was an obvious spot for a bunch of institutions to try to push us off of to make a short-term profit. And, you know, obviously a lot of institutions were shorting around here, and they did make some significant money, especially if they started covering their short positions around here. I doubt that a lot of them did, because if you actually look at Ortex, you can see what happened with the short interest. A lot of the shorts actually ended up having to cover around that very high price point of $20, which is actually what helped to drive us up on this day. Why we were up over 50% on the day was a lot of shorts were covering around here. And that actually led to a massive dip in short interest. You can look at this yellow line. That's the short interest as a percentage of the free float overlaid on the price of ATER. And this is on Ortex, by the way. So you can see that today we are going through a kind of similar pattern, right? We got very high up with short interest, and actually what led to a bit of the rise that we had yesterday and some of the days prior, where some shorts were covering. And you can see that on the chart right here. Some of the shorts were covering, getting out of their positions. Now they're back in, right? Short interest is up today, up 4.18%. And that brings us to a total of 57.95% short interest as a percentage of the free float. Now, what's interesting about ATR is that we actually do see these mini squeezes, right? Where we end up dropping in short interest, and that ends up buoying us up very high in price. Now, what I like about this is that even though these short squeezes happen and we buoy very high up in price and then do dip down, right, as more shorts come in, we always end up coming back and making higher highs. At least that's what happened in the past, and it looks like that's what's happening right now, right? We're up over 10% on the day, and even though we are on a bit of a red bar right now, and it looks like there is some pressure to be pushing us down, that's mostly, in my opinion, just new shorts coming in, trying to push us down, because a lot of shorts, you know, you can see this is still very heavily shorted, over 50%. Anything over 50% as a percentage of the free float is extremely shorted, in my opinion. I mean, honestly, even over 20% is very shorted, but over 50% is almost insane. And, you know, a lot of shorts have shares in this, or rather the lack of shares, right? They've shorted shares, and they don't want this thing to go up. So they're really trying to push it down. They're willing to short a little bit more. And shorts are not scared yet, apparently, right? They're not scared of a 57% short interest as a percentage of the free float. You know, we've seen shorts well above 60%. We've seen shorts above 90%. So this is obviously not scaring that many shorts away. And I think that what will end up having to scare shorts away, if they do get scared away before they actually get margin called, is they'll have to see a massive breakthrough of this $20 level. That could really spur some fears in them, because if you look back at the past, you know, we did bounce off $20 in a very strong way. And I suspect that shorts are hoping that's what will happen again. And it's very possible that they're going to be pushing this thing down very heavily at $20. If you look at the current short interest, it's 13 million shares just about. And if you multiply that by the stock price, ooh, this is some math right here. I think that's around $170 million, $180 million, about somewhere around there. So it's not really the largest dollar amount for institutions. 180 million, they can live with a $180 million short position. Now, if this really starts pumping up, that could become insurmountable for them to deal with. But as of right now, it's not actually that large of a position relative to their overall portfolio. And for shorts to cover, they're going to need either to be margin called or to be scared out of their position. Now, for them to get margin called, they actually have to have a very large amount of shorted shares, and a very large dollar amount, rather. And that's what actually causes their brokerages to say, hey, you don't have enough money in your account to cover the cost of borrowing all of this excess margin that you're using to short these shares, and you have to cover those. So you either have to close that position or close other positions to increase your cash basis. So that's what causes shorts to actually get squeezed. It's a real uptick in the price that actually causes them to get squeezed, not just the idea that they're shorting a very high percentage of the free float. So when you're looking at a chart like this, and you see that a lot of shorts were shorting around $20, that means that once we start breaking past $20 and getting much higher, hopefully, especially if you look at the yearly chart, you can see that we have been much higher, and there's the real potential for us to shoot very high up. Once we start getting into the high 20s, the 30s, 40s, that's really when a lot of the shorts, especially, the shorts who were in under 10, right? There's still probably a bunch of those who haven't quite covered yet, but especially the shorts getting in at 20 as well, they will be hurting quite a bit at that point and maybe looking to cover, because a lot of the time shorts end up covering before they have to if it really looks like a stock is just shooting up, especially now that they've seen what's happened with GME and AMC. They've seen some really bad situations unfold for institutions and people who are shorting stocks, and they've seen some institutions get very hurt by that, and they likely don't want this to turn into a very similar situation for them. So my expectation is if they can't hold this thing back at $20, then that could be a big boost to this stock price, right? We might, if we end up breaking and holding over 20, end up seeing a massive boost one of the following days. That's my expectation, at least. I think that would be a really good point. Potentially would be boosting all the way to around 25, kind of like what we did when we bounced off of $20 as a support level. We bounced all the way to 25. We could boost there in maybe even a day. The way this thing has moved, we've moved up 50% in a day. It would not surprise me to see us, at 20, moving up 25% to $25. So I really think that there is a lot of potential with ATER. And not just that, but if you actually look at the Google Trends, right, you can see that we are slowly but surely getting more and more search interest, especially, on this bar. Obviously, this is incomplete data, and it almost certainly won't be this high, but it really seems like on Google, at least, a lot of people are searching for ATR. And if you actually go to web search instead of YouTube search, you can see that we have been making higher highs more recently with ATR being searched. So you can see we were at a search ranking of 73 right there, 89 right there, and today we actually hit a 100. So a ton of people are interested in this stock. They're recognizing that it's a very bullish pattern that we're seeing now that we've bounced off of $10 and are so high, up over 10% on the day. And a lot of people are probably looking to get in. Now, the one community that this hasn't really taken off in yet is Wall Street Bets. If you look at Ape Wisdom, this is a site that tracks the most popular stocks that are being talked about on Wall Street Bets. You can scroll down all the way to spot number, I think it's 44 right here, and Aterian is still only at 44. You can see on this chart, this very small chart, the trend over 30 days, it has increased in popularity quite a bit on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. However, it's still not as high as many of the other stocks. So if this thing really took off on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, that could be another huge potential group of people who are coming in, buying this thing up, pushing the price up, and helping us get past $20, because that could still act as a very strong resistance level for us, right? It's not guaranteed that we're going to burst through. My theory is that if we do burst through, we're going to burst through in a big way. But if we don't, it could be very difficult to. Assuming that institutions are going to try to hold us there. That's my assumption, right? I think that, if we start tapping on 20 very lightly, that might be institutions' cue to start shorting fairly heavily and pushing us down, right? If it doesn't look like there's a lot of momentum taking us through 20, that's when I might start to get worried with ATER. So that's really what I'm here to talk about today regarding ATER. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.